Hey guys, this is Mark.
This is Michelle.
And this is episode 41. Yeah, 41 of This is Mark and Michelle. And we're going to talk about a few things today. We don't have one set subject, but we just want me to give a summary of what we're going to start out with?
Do whatever you want.
Okay. Well, we thought we'd talk about somebody that we met new today, and she's going to be working with us and us with her, and to collaborate on some projects to help spread our message and hers. And
it's pretty exciting.
It is. She is a woman from England, and she used to be a PR consultant.
She's a health coach.
And now, and she's a health coach, right? And she recovered her son from severe ADHD and severe short-term memory problems and this type of thing. And now he's fully recovered and at university. I should say that's her older son. And she coaches people on health and learning and communication. And she also uses Legos, if I'm understanding that correctly. I'd have to go back and read to be sure, to help solve problems and boost creative thinking and that type of thing. And her name is Natalie Sutton. You've seen her here in our commenting on our page and that type of stuff. But anyway, we're looking forward to working with her, and I think she's looking forward to working with us. So if you see her, say hi to her. We'll probably have Facebook Lives where all three of us are together talking. But we'll let you know as the projects develop. But that was one thing we wanted to announce. That's a big thing for us. And she seems to be a wonderfully caring and helpful person. So we're looking forward to things that will develop and take on new lives with her. But let's see, there was something else. Well, what we also wanted to talk about today was I have periodically mentioned developmental gaps when you have autism and what you miss out on learning when you have autism. And so today we have a story to share with you that just happened about almost exactly an hour ago.
Yes, and I don't think we're over it yet, but
no, but we'll work through it as we always do.
We always do.
And so you want me to start telling it, or you want to start telling it?
Well,
you want me to jog your memory?
Well, Mark was autistic. I did all of the household business stuff. So paying the bills and whatever, buying stuff. He always did groceries. But keeping things like toilet paper in stock and just household things. And now that he's awakened.
Yeah, I think it's awakened.
He's finding out all the things he doesn't know and how frustrated he is that he's 50 and doesn't know these things. So today, we were trying to change phones from one company to another company. And I thought it would be safe. I mean, not like it's earth-shattering or anything, but to leave him there and to do it because I've always done all that kind of stuff, changing companies for better rates and SIM cards and all that stuff. And it didn't work out. Go ahead.
Okay. So she had already changed her phone over earlier in the week. And so she went through the process of doing it online and getting her SIM card and that kind of thing, activating her phone and all that. And there were some rough spots in it with customer service.
Yes.
And that got all worked out, and she wound up better off than she was. Well, because I was at work and she was at work and we work opposite schedules mostly, I didn't get to really see her process. I just heard bits and pieces of it. Now, so, and I didn't really stop to think about it, about the process that she went through because I didn't need to. And so today, we decided to pay off my phone and then switch to this other carrier. So we went to a local store to switch to that other carrier. And so I went ahead and purchased a plan, and the clerk at the counter, I said, look, I need to activate my phone. Well, he said, okay, I can do that for you. So he gets my phone number, and he gets the activation pin off the back of the playing card. There's one viewer with us, a viewer, and so he picked up another phone to call it's Natalie. Hey, Natalie.
Oh, hey.
And thanks for being here. And at 9 o'clock at night. And so he picked up another phone. He called the new carrier's customer service phone number. And when he typed in my phone number, that carrier said, well, this number is not a part of our service. And so he tried that a second time. Hey, Lisa Amber, how are you?
Hi, Lisa.
And so after the second time of trying that, and the service saying, well, my phone number is not a part of that service, I said, okay, well, I guess I'll have to activate it at home. Well, I said, I'll go online. He said, okay, and so he handed the phone back to me. So I went on about my business, and I found Michelle. Hey, Lisa, and I guess it is a good evening. You guys getting snow there too? And so I went on about my business. I went and found Michelle. She was looking at clothes, and she goes, "Are you done?" And I told her what happened. Well, that annoyed her, and so and although I wasn't sure why then, I know now. But we go back over there, and she stands there, and she said, "Well, he's supposed to get a SIM card with this." And the guy looked at her and said, "Well, we don't sell SIM cards anymore for that carrier." Just a little, huh? Just flakes and things. And so he said, well, we don't sell those anymore. Well, she was annoyed. She said, well, it says on their site that you guys can do that for us. And he said, no, we're not able to do that anymore. Well, that miffed her off even more. So anyway, what I realized is I was missing out on communication from her, only because she already knew what the whole process was, and she knew she was needing. I didn't know really what I was supposed to be doing.
So it made me realize I have to be present to teach him how to do these things that I've done our whole married life.
Well, yeah, and again, had I known I was supposed to get a SIM card, I would have asked for one. I just didn't know that I was supposed to get one. You just don't know. Right. Well, and I didn't know that I was supposed to ask him for one, only because if that expectation was in your head, I didn't know it. So anyway, I didn't get the SIM card for as long as you're staying warm. And I didn't get the SIM card, but it made me realize that at 50, having lived a life full of autism, I just didn't really know the process for starting something. And I remember even when I was autistic, people would ask me, do you have questions? And my answer was usually no. And sometimes I would answer, why would I have questions? People expect you to have questions, but if you don't have questions, they either think you're not interested or, okay, not interested. I was interested. I just didn't know that I had, hey, Theodore.
Hey.
And, I just didn't know that I didn't know.
Yeah. So can you explain the difference between your autistic brain not having questions and your new brain having questions?
Well, my autistic brain couldn't feel confusion. I might have could tell when my thoughts didn't match up, and I knew I was missing something, but I didn't know I was confused. Now on my NT brain, I can feel confusion, and I know when to ask questions because, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't match up. Because implicitly there's something that doesn't match up. When you're autistic, you don't get the implicit stuff. And that's the thing. Maybe all this communication, a lot of it was implicit, and you just expected me to pick it up. But I just didn't because I didn't know you were communicating. I don't know. So
I don't remember consciously trying to communicate or anything.
Right. Well, and that might I don't know. I mean, it's been a busy week for you and that kind of stuff. So, so anyway, when it's implicit, I pick it up now almost entirely. But I'm also noticing that implicit gets carried along with explicit. In other words, you can't just be implicit and not say anything. There's implicit meaning that comes with explicit verbal communication. But verbal communication can exist without implicit, but it doesn't usually. But implicit communication can't really exist unless you're talking about gestures, or what I've since learned, being able to read people's faces. That ability just switched on, which we've talked about before. But some implicit communication has to be communicated.
Well, I just also want to say, when we go into those big box stores, I get hit by everybody's energy. And so I'm not the Michelle you're used to when I go in there.
Well, that's a valid point, because I know for you it's a matter of keeping up a wall so that you don't wind up in energetic chaos when you're there. Well, and
which
so
also means there's a wall between you and me, and when we're in there.
Well, and that's a fair point. That didn't occur to me then.
It didn't either until just now.
Right, and that was really probably the issue. I still find it quite frustrating that at 50 years old, there's a lot of living that I don't know about because of the gaps in social learning that I had when I was autistic as a kid and as a teenager and as a young adult and as an older adult. Because for me, if I consider that my regression into autism occurred with the vaccines that I got in the early 70s, so from 1972 or 73 up until last year, that's 45 years. And that's 45 years of learning that I missed out on. That is 4.5, that is almost my entire life. That is 1/10 of my life. Or excuse me, 9/10 of my life. 9/10 of my life I missed out on the learning that I needed to become a decently socially functioning adult. And so I find that frustrating. And I've said numerous times, I thought I'd be further along. Well, I've had other people say, well, I thought I'd be further along. Well, I get it. But when you're autistic, you're further behind than most people, considerably further behind. And the older you live with autism, the older you get, I think that gap in social development and learning becomes greater. And while it can be gotten over, I've gotten over a lot of it, it's still frustrating to find out that I still have some issues with it. Not to say I'm not learning, but anyway, it's kind of heartbreaking to know that I may always be behind. So anyway, but that's why we want to tell you
to get your kids fixed,
please. And if somebody says that there's nothing wrong with them, you know what? You're not living this life. Just be quiet. If you don't like what we say, don't show up here. All right? And if you're upset by now, then you probably don't want to hear this. So please move on. All right? But if you can recover your kids from autism before they get older, before they get 10, 12, 15, 20, do it. Because they'll still have enough of a emotional and social buffer zone to learn what they need to learn as they get older. And not to say that I didn't, but I did burn some bridges. Not that I intended to, it's just that that's what happened because I didn't know how to use the emotions that were coming out from me as I recovered. And so those are all recoverable. I can rebuild those, and in some cases I have. But it's been a very interesting, very diverse, very educational stressful educational recovery. And I think it is for everybody. But you definitely, if you're going to recover your kids from autism, do it when they're kids. Because it will become a resistant nightmare the older they get. Down in front. So that's what that was one of the things we wanted to talk about today. And something else that we really wanted to talk about too is that autism is only one condition on the health spectrum, right? So let's talk about the health spectrum. To me, here's what I think health is. Good health. Good health is you can get up every morning or evening or whatever. You can do the work that you want to do and love. Your brain is naturally happy. You're naturally loving. And you interact with people around, with almost everyone around you in a positive manner, right? You can do what you need and want to do in life without feeling like it's a heavy burden all the time.
Without thinking about what is my body going to do today.
Exactly. Without worrying about whether your body's going to fail you. That's good health to me. But that is kind of an absolute state. Can you get there? Yes.
Are we there yet? No.
No.
But we've seen so much change that we believe that there is a place.
Yeah, we believe that there is a place of green pastures. And,
we believe.
We sound like a bunch of milk cows. But we do believe that there is such a state as good health. And you can get there with our help, with other people's help, with other coaches that we know, Natalie for one, Lindsay, Carrie for another. But you can get there. Sandra RN for another. She's another one of our moms here on Heal Your Autism. But you can get to good health. And autism is only one condition on the health spectrum. There are many others. Michelle, let's just go through hers. Lyme disease, right? Which medical medium says is Epstein-Barr, right?
Yep.
And not just that, but fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. Those might be the same thing. I don't know. But
I think they're different.
They might be. And you know better than me. And so she had all of these, and these are going away. Now, any other thing? I mean, we keep hearing stories. We've heard stories for a few decades now of people healing themselves from cancer. So if you've got that going on, that's just another condition. I'm not demeaning it or demeaning anybody's journey. I'm saying that is just another condition on the health spectrum, one that can be healed.
There are several people on the medical medium detox group that have healed themselves from cancer.
And so good health is a possibility for everyone.
One woman healed from terminal cancer.
Oh, see, now that means she was in the last stage.
She's still not happy with where she is in her health, but she has obviously improved immensely.
Well, to put it bluntly, she's not dead.
Yeah.
And if it was terminal and she was probably in the last stage, she was almost there. So you can reclaim your health. And your bad health is not your fault. It's just the programming you got as you grew up with, that you grew up with. Like we did on
that and getting all the heavy metals.
And the other toxins.
The toxins in the...
Right, exactly. It's multifaceted, but all you have to do is take care of one facet at a time. And because that's what we did. That's how we had to do it. And so you can reclaim your health. You can reclaim your children's health. You can do it with us, with our support, with us cheering you on, because you know we do that. We always tell you guys how great you are, because you really are. You're wonderful at what you do. Just keep doing it. Just keep going. Somebody said that the surest route to success is to never quit. And really it is, because it doesn't matter what route you get there as long as you get there.
Yeah, we've never quit.
We haven't. And we've been doing this almost 6 years, be 6 years here in July.
Wow.
So we've been doing it. It seems like 6 years seems like a long time, but I'm 50. So that's a little less than 1/8 of my lifetime. I've actually spent less than 1/8 of my lifetime
eating
good stuff and reclaiming my health from autism, from high cholesterol. I had high cholesterol. Now I don't. And and I was close to being diabetic, and all of that went away because I chose to reclaim my health. You can do the same thing. You can do it. We've done it. We're not special. We're not heroes. We're just people who did what you want to do, and we're going to show you, or can show you, or are showing you how to do it.
Yeah.
All right?
Fry says yeah.
Fry says yeah, as he shows everybody his butt. Anyway, well, what else did we want to talk about?
I did want to say we have talked about beliefs before, but I really like what Medical Medium says about that it is not your thinking that made you sick. It is strep. It is Epstein-Barr. There's real things that actually made you sick. But I still believe that there's an aspect of beliefs that makes your life.
Well, I think that's why I like Bruce Lipton so much, because Bruce Lipton says when you think negative thoughts, you send cortisol, adrenal hormones, and other things into your system, which stresses you out.
Yeah.
When you think positive thoughts and you have positive feelings, you send positive chemicals into the petri dish that is you, and those affect your health. Negative stress hormones do affect your health negatively. Positive hormones and positive neurochemistry affect your health positively. So it's not actually your thinking more than it is how you feel about it. Now, I think beliefs can affect whether you choose to reclaim your health or not, in the sense of, well, I don't think I can change it.
Yes.
Well, you have to open your mind up to the possibility of. See, for the longest time, I didn't think I could change autism. I didn't know that it was changeable.
Well, we hardly even knew long enough that you were autistic to know that to think that maybe it wasn't changeable.
Right. Well,
was it just a year?
It was just a year.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a year and 2 weeks,
Yeah.
a year and 3 weeks, something like that. And we talked about that recently. And I was saying autism is me. Everybody needs to accept me and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's great. But what I needed to learn then, and I have since learned, is nobody needs to accept me because I'm autistic. I need to accept me. And not because I'm autistic, but because I'm me. Right?
But you had no concept of me.
No, I had
when
no
you
concept.
Were autistic.
No, I didn't. I had no sense of self. And what is a sense of self? It's a sense of knowing who you are and who that person is and how they react to life experiences. And I did not know that. There was no way I could know that until I could get in touch with my emotions and know how I was going to react to things. And that has been a process. And so I had to learn who I was, which I thought I was doing before I knew about the autism. I was working really hard at that. But losing the autism opened me up so much that I really found out that who I am is who I thought I was. I am a loving person. I am an incredibly persevering person. I do not quit. And she doesn't either. And it's a good thing I married her, because if I had married a woman who easily gave up, we would have been divorced a long time ago, because I wouldn't have given up and she would have. But but anyway, Michelle is right. It's not your thinking. There are actual things that make you sick. But sometimes your thinking can either further your recovery or hinder your recovery, because it's tied into how you believe about certain things. And I've said this recently, beliefs can literally either make you or break you. And it's easy enough to point that out in my life. So stop and think about next time, do you have beliefs that are making you or breaking you? Because if you can find the ones that are breaking you and get rid of those and change those, then you're also healing you as well. So What else anything else we want to talk about?
I just think beliefs are very important.
Beliefs are very important. Agreed. So, but if there's anything you guys want to hear us talk about, you can always post it in the questions or leave us a message on Heal Your Autism, and we'll be more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks for coming.